friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to this week's What's for Dinner. If you are new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family, and don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below because it really does help my channel. This week's What's for Dinner, I've got a couple new favorite meals that we really enjoyed for the week. One of them was something I've seen on Taylor Elmore's channel before, so it's a Tex Mex Chicken and Rice casserole. We loved that thing. I did change it up a bit based on some of the ingredients like I already had at home, but anyways, I'll link her channel in the description box down below. And then the other one was a substitution for the week. So on my meal plan I had beef bulgogi bowls, but I needed top sirloin steak and my closest grocery store has been out all week. I think it was because there was a sale on it, so I could not find any, and I didn't really feel like driving around just to hopefully find any, so I just switched it up to another item, and it was it's Thai chicken meatballs, but I made it with ground turkey, and I loved those a lot. They'd be a great like meal prep item. But anyways, let's just get started. We started the week off with this place called Ixtaco Taqueria. I've been really craving like a chili verde and chicharron burrito, and I was looking for a place to find it, and this place came up, but we've never been there before, so I wanted to try it out, and it was good. It wasn't exactly the way my mind wanted it to be, so I am going to try to find a recipe that I can maybe try to recreate that and do that on video for you guys, and hopefully I can make it the way I want it, because I just like have this specific craving, and I don't know where I got this burrito from before, but I must have loved it. And anyways, we got some of their like mango water on the side, so good, but overall we did enjoy this place. On this night, I had really made a mistake when grocery shopping and forgot one small ingredient, but it mattered a lot. So I had to come up with something really quick, and I did have salmon on the list for the week. So I knew that I could make it in the Ninja Foodie Grill from frozen. So that was like the selling point for me. So I pulled out some salmon from the freezer, and I knew that it would just take about 12 minutes flipping halfway through for it to be cooked. These were larger fillets, so I did have to increase that time by a couple minutes, and I had to cut the fillets once I could cut them. I cut them like in half to make the cook time a little bit like better, because what was going to be the situation for me with these big fillets was that the middle wouldn't cook as quickly as the outer edges would. And then for the last couple minutes of cook time, I used some of this sweet red chili sauce because I need to use it up, and I put some, I just like basted it on top of the salmon fillets. Teriyaki sauce would also be a great option. In fact, I had to swap out one of my other meals for the week using sweet chili sauce, so had I known that I was going to have to do that, I probably would have done teriyaki this night. But either way, they're both flavors we love, and I did have to use this bottle up anyways. And these were two quick sides that I already had. I wanted to use up this dill pickle chopped salad kit because I really wanted to try it actually. So I figured it'd go along with salmon very well, and it did. And then I just used one of the Uncle Ben's long grain rice that you just like heat up for 90 seconds in the microwave as a quick side. And this was a quick meal. I liked that part about it. Even though, it was unexpected that I was going to have to do this, I loved that I could throw it together and it was still very delicious and something we would enjoy a lot. The great part about having a Ninja Foodie Grill like this is that, yes, I cooked this salmon from frozen, but I could have also made it chicken from frozen as well. So if you don't like seafood, you could definitely do it this way with chicken. If you saw my meal plan for the week, you saw that I mentioned this Tex Mex Chicken and Rice casserole that I saw over on Taylor Elmore's channel a couple times. I will leave her channel linked in the description box down below. But to this pan, I'm adding a tablespoon of olive oil and then about half a cup or so of diced onion, and I'm just gonna toss that around, get it coated in the oil, and let that saute and become tender for just a couple minutes. And I'm doing a different variation of this a little bit. It calls for just like rice and vermicelli mix, which would be your basic rice-a-roni, but I had the Mexican style one. I thought I had the chicken original one, but yeah, I didn't have that, so I figured, you know what, it's still gonna work. It's Mexican flavored. This whole thing is Mexican flavored things, so I'm gonna make it work. So I added it to the pan, and I have vermicelli on my own anyway, so I just sprinkled a little in there. Didn't really measure, just kind of like didn't want to overpower the rest of that rice pasta mixture, so I just put a little in there, and I'll increase my water a little later. And then I am adding in that seasoning packet that comes with it, tossing this all together, and then I'm adding in 2 cups of water, and then 14 ounces or so of chicken broth. But like I said, I did increase that a little bit because I added the vermicelli to it. You don't have to do that if you're using just original chicken flavored rice-a-roni. Gave that all a good stir again. I put the lid on that and I let that come to a boil, and I am reducing the heat and letting that simmer for about 20 minutes. I might have done about 22 minutes since I did add that extra pasta. I wanted to make sure that it was all cooking good. And the recipe does state that the liquid will not be fully absorbed, and I was worried at first that I had added a little too much extra water, but it all worked out perfectly. I also made this in a skillet with deep sides so that I wouldn't have to transfer this to another bowl to mix it like they said. I just want to do it in one pan. So to that pan, I'm adding 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken. I diced up 2 Roma tomatoes. I'm adding those in. 3 tablespoons of canned diced green chilies. I'm just measuring those out, and Taylor recommends freezing up the rest, and that's definitely a great recommendation because I tend to put sometimes the rest of the can in the refrigerator thinking I'll use it, and I don't. And then add in 1 teaspoon of dried basil that's been crushed. I'm just rubbing that between my hands really quick to break that up. And then the recipe does call for 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cumin, as well as 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm not adding those ingredients because of the seasoning mix that's the Mexican in this. It's probably already got those cumin flavors and chili powder flavors. I don't want it to be too overpowering. So I didn't add those 3 in, but you would if you were. Mix it all together, and then I'm adding it to the bottom of a baking dish, a 2-quart baking dish. I just have this 8x8. It worked out just perfectly. It filled it to the very top. You're gonna bake this in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes, and you will cover that. And then once you pull that out, you will add cheese. It says 2 ounces of shredded cheese. That's just not enough for us. We like our cheese, so I didn't really measure. I just used some cheddar cheese on top just till it looked covered to our liking, and then it says to just let it stand for 5 minutes. I did place this back in the oven and put the broil on for just 1 minute to 2 minutes to make that cheese nice and melty. I served this with just some cucumbers and tomatoes with some ranch on them, a nice cool option, but we loved this casserole. I expected to like it good enough. It's flavors that I like. I thought I would definitely enjoy it, but we absolutely loved it so much. And now I still want to try it with the chicken flavored rice-a-roni, but at the same time I absolutely loved it with this Mexican one, so I'm not sure if I want to change that up because of how much we really enjoyed this. But either way, definitely go check out Taylor making that. Like I said, I will leave her channel linked in the description box below. If I have the exact video where she's making it, I will link that for you as well. I definitely wasn't intending to have takeout this night, but my brother-in-law got us pizza for dinner, so I wasn't saying no to a night of not having to cook. So we got this place called Red Devil. It's actually from my hometown area, in a city local to us, and we went there and grabbed that. We just got a specialty on that. Figured if all of us would like that, and it really did take me back. I haven't had it in a while, so I really enjoyed that. I had some crab meat I wanted to use up from the freezer, so I am going to make this crab pasta. I'm just taking 1/2 pound of linguine, and I'm cooking that into some heavily salted boiling water here. I'm just going to cook that for about, 8 to 10 minutes, just al dente or your liking. And then once it's done, go ahead and reserve some of that pasta water. Then drain and set that pasta aside. I am not using 2 separate pans like the recipe calls for. I'm doing this in the same pot. I've added 3 tablespoons of butter, letting that melt, and then I'm adding about 2 cloves worth of minced garlic. I'm just using this squeeze kind. I'm gonna let that just saute for just 30 seconds, and then add in a 1/3 cup of, it calls for dry white wine. I don't really use wine when cooking that much, so I use some of the garlic better than bouillon base to just make a 1/3 cup of garlic broth. And then I'm juicing 1/2 of a lemon and adding that in. I'm stirring that all together. We're gonna let that reduce for a couple of minutes, and then here's what was frozen crab meat. It says a cup's worth. This is 8 ounces. Not really measuring if it's an exact cup's worth in volume, not sure, but I'm assuming so, and it sounds good to me because I didn't want to open another pack. So I'm just breaking that up so it's a little bit shredded up, and then tossing that into the pan, letting it warm up and all of that. Then once it does its thing, getting warm, add the pasta back in and add some of your reserved pasta water. So I had made a mistake earlier in adding way too much liquid, and so I had to pull the buttery liquid out. So that's why you see butter in that pasta water, and that's okay. I figured a little extra butter isn't going to hurt, but the starches in the pasta water will still keep it nice and saucy. And then toss in half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese so that can begin to melt. Then I'm adding in 2 tablespoons worth or so of chopped parsley. And then you can add salt and pepper to your taste. Mine mostly needed just pepper. I like to salt my pasta water heavily, so I don't need too much salt here, but we do like our pepper. And again, you'll just add any extra pasta water you need to make it a nice sauce, but without being too soupy. That's just to your preference. Now, y'all can definitely add some shredded chicken versus like crab meat or shrimp if you like it. But if you're just trying to stay away from seafood, chicken would definitely work to just make this a nice, like, light, lemony chicken pasta. I bet that'd be delicious still with like Parmesan cheese. But anyways, I served this with a side Caesar salad and some garlic bread. This was a nice meal for us. We enjoy seafood, so we really enjoyed this a lot. I love a good bowl of pasta. It's very comforting. So we enjoyed this a lot. I'm starting this recipe off by taking a pound of ground turkey. I am substituting in the recipe. It calls for ground chicken. I'm using ground turkey, and I've added that to a large bowl, and then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of salt and about a tablespoon or so of both ginger and garlic. I'm just using this squeeze kind. 1 tablespoon of minced cilantro, 2 green onions that have been finely minced, half of a lime that was zested, and then I didn't have lemongrass, so I am substituting that. I looked up what the best substitute could be, and they said the zest of a lemon, so I did have some lemon to zest, so I went ahead and added that in as a substitute. Next, I'm adding in a half a cup of panko breadcrumbs and 1 large egg. And now you're either going to use your hands to mix this all up or some gloves, whatever works best for you. I'm just taking one of my hands here and just mixing all those ingredients together, kind of just folding it over, incorporating all those ingredients and like making sure nothing really stays stuck to the bowl, or not much stays stuck to the bowl. And I'm not overworking it because we don't want to change the texture of the meat. But yeah, just mix that all together, and then we're forming some 2-inch size balls or around there. I'm using this baking mat on a baking sheet. It does say to put it in a baking pan, like a glass one. I just like these baking sheets for stuff like this, and it has measurements on it, so I can kind of see about what a 2-inch size meatball is around there. And I'm just forming all of them. For me, it made 14. I think for them it made 15. It's close enough, and I'm baking that at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. And while that bakes, I'm taking some sweet chili sauce. This is the Sweet Baby Ray's one, and I'm going to measure out about a 1/4 cup of that into a bowl and let that sit while those are baking, so it's a little bit like more room temperature. And then we'll pull those meatballs out and just baste that sauce all over them to get them nice and coated. You could toss them in it if you wanted. I'm just, like I said, basting it on the top, not really getting much on the bottom, but I am taking, like, they're going to drip on the bottom a little, and I'll kind of like move them around so they get a little bit of sauce on the bottom, and put them back in the oven for another 8 to 10 minutes. For me, I think it was about 8 minutes and they were done when I put my thermometer in one to check. And I serve these over some jasmine rice with some extra of the sweet chili sauce on top of them. I had an Asian salad kit I had to use up, so I served that on the side. But I would definitely like to have this with like some roasted broccoli or just some steamed broccoli. I think that would make it even more amazing for me because we loved these meatballs. I really, really liked them a lot. Like, they had great flavor. So I'm definitely making these again. I loved how easy they really were. And I think this would be a great like meal prep type of meatball because they're nice and flavorful, but like a nice light flavor. So I really enjoyed that a lot. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I hope you all have a great day.